Hi everybody. So welcome to the NY X-Wing um, New Hype tournament final. Sam Page versus Ryan Becker. And unfortunately, it's just going to be me tonight. We had a bit of a technical issues, and our much more charming host Cal was not able to join because we could not get anyone else. Um, but he is in the chat room and he's saying, "Sounds good." So right now we have the two matchups: Sam Page versus Ryan Becker, and they are flying what I would say is a pretty predictable of what they were going to fly, and so they probably knew what was going on. Let's take a look at their lists. So Ryan on the left, on the red side, he is flying Fan Rao with Fearless, um, very efficient, powerful, deadly I-6, and Boba Fett with Fearless and thermal detonators. Also very threatening. And Gamut Key, one of the new ships. Love to see the new stuff on this new stuff tournament. With Protectorate Galeb, um, who basically makes it so that, and for those who don't know what the new stuff is, Protectorate Galeb allows him um, to coordinate, and then that person gets a red token, usually a stress, but could be something else. Gamut has these charges that allows him to essentially allows him to make it so someone in his arc doesn't give up their green token. And on the right hand side, we have Sam Page, who's flying Han Solo with Kanan Jarrus. Pretty simple. Gives him the Force, opens up his dial, makes it so he can do white maneuvers when he's stressed, because Han likes to boost. Then we have Wedge also. Wedge Antilles in an X-Wing. Pretty standard build. And now he didn't actually tell me that he was going to have the S-foils, but I'm assuming he has the S-foils, even though it's not listed on this part. So he's pretty standard. Two sixes. That's pretty deadly. Um, though Sam, I believe, is running at 200, so he doesn't have the bid to Ryan's 199. And then finally, the new piece in Sam's list is Ahsoka Tano with concussion missiles. Um, I love that. A-wing with the Force, white evade makes her very tanky. Concussion missiles gets her red dice up, and that just allows for a lot of. And also, she's I-5 coordinate. I mean, who doesn't love an I-5 coordinate? So this is 665 on Sam's and 653 for initiative values on Ryan's side. So I wasn't paying attention at all at what their asteroid placement is, but it looks like it got clustered a lot onto Ryan's side, which is probably beneficial for both because Ryan is playing a very aggressive list and he wants to make sure that he is getting in onto Sam's side, and he doesn't want in Boba Fett and Gamut probably want a little bit of room to move, while Fenn is a lot more flexible with getting around debris and all that other jazz. So they're still setting up their ships, and I this is our first stream, so we haven't figured out things like doing polls. So if anyone wants to say in the chat what they think is going to be a good, who's going to win, that's great. I don't know how many people are in the chat, to be honest, because two viewers. We have two viewers. So one of them's Cal probably, and so one of them is somebody else, who I don't know who that is. I'm learning this software as I speak. Kashka Frost. I think that's I don't remember who people's names were anymore. It's been so long. Oh, hello. I know all these people. I think I've met them all. Scott, I do know Scott. He's got twins. I know him, and but I haven't seen him in like a year and a half because pandemic reasons. Um, so hi, hey there, Scott. Hey there, Cal. Glad for you to join to see this exciting matchup, Scum versus Rebels. Personally, not surprised that this is the matchup at the end because the Imperials got some good stuff, but I think a lot of that stuff needs to be learned and practiced. And the Rebel Alliance, which if people checked out our rankings, basically it was like Ryan, who was undefeated the whole time. He ran Scum. He was our Scum pilot, and then it was like Sam, and then Darko, and then Cal, all Rebel Alliance players. Um, and it looks like they're getting started. I don't know if they clicked anything. Let me go to the Steam Labs thing and start getting that ready so I can hit the clock. Um, so we can be somewhat synced. I'm sure there's a better way to sync things, but this seems good enough for me. Um, when I hear that they're going to get started, I hear the good luck, I'll start the clock. Um, the funny thing about this is I'm in their chat room. They can't hear me, but I can hear them. So I hear these voices talking to me, and they're very cordial. They like each other, even though. Also, funny note, NYC tournament, and these two NYC people. One moved to Michigan, Sam, and one lives in Philly, which is Ryan. So neither of them are in NYC, which means I can't just drop off their prizes when they win. I have to actually mail them out, and I'm pretty lazy. So that's unfortunate for me. Um, so they're now setting their dials. It looks like Sam is definitely being protective of Wedge, which makes sense. He wants Wedge to be in the game as much as possible, and he wants Wedge to blow up that Fenral if he can before he dies. Wedge is all he's just a big old punching bag that basically wants to destroy at least 60 plus points in a game before it dies. And Han's just right in the middle, basically wanting to charge somebody and be around the asteroids to proc his ability as much as possible. And we're starting. And we got Gamut flying right in front of a debris cloud. I assume that he's probably just going to take a focus and then decide what he needs to do. But I definitely didn't expect that. I figured he would have gone a little bit around with Boba, make sure Boba keeps those odds, and he's going to do a coordinate or a boost. I don't know. He did that thing? Okay. That's what we call on the business user error. All right, so he coordinated to Boba Fett a boost so that he sees where Han and Wedge placed. So now Boba can get at the right angle of attack. So Ahsoka's playing a little coy, flying away from the action. She doesn't really want to charge in onto. Oh, there's people talking. Holy cow! Oh yeah. Sam moved to Michigan. That's absolutely right. He moved pandemic. He realized that he didn't really need to be in New York City to do his job because nobody actually goes to the office anymore. So that's why he's there. Um, so that's pretty much where we are. All right. Classic move. Boba Fett does his boost. He's got the stress, but the stress doesn't matter because he's doing a blue maneuver anyway. Clears it. Um, and I got distracted by the chat. And I don't know why Han was stressed. I assume he was stressed because he got coordinated by. There's a lot of coordination going on here. So coordinating, yeah, that's a good action. I6, I5, and coordinate. Good actions. I'm a fan. And then Wedge is doing what Wedge does, setting up to just go in and just try and blow people up. Um, I'm a Rebel player, I really wanted to have Cal here because Cal has spent a lot of time playing all the original trilogy factions, but definitely also Scum, so he would have a lot more insights to the Scum mentality, especially with Boba Fett and Fen Rao. Um, but as a Rebel player myself, I do know that I do know that the longer Wedge is alive, the the better the chances are of the Rebel player. Um, I've played a lot of games, and it's not even just how much you have Wedge alive and shooting. It's just alive because Wedge is just a big old draw people in and shoot you. And sometimes as a Rebel player, you can use that to your advantage by just close S foils, 4 forward or 3 bank, and then boost, get out of dodge, and then everyone is out of position, and the rest of your squad can start shooting, and Wedge is not taking damage, so he can come around for another attack run. Um, and but I will say that if you want some other um, opinions, get you can actually get Cal's opinions on this game in the stream chat. For the people who are watching afterwards, they don't really get um, they don't really get the benefit of it. They might not see the stream chat. Definitely when we post it to YouTube, they won't get the stream chat, and that's assuming that I did this right and I'm actually saving this and it's not going to just get deleted to the ether. The part of me wishes that it does, just for my voice. Um, and then Scott's over there in the chat just doing all kinds of stuff. And there's Kashka. I mean, not Kashka. Sorry. You distracted me, Scott. Thanks. No. And then Gamut is do more coordinating actions. Now you see that Boba Fett has 2 focuses on him, and that's because Gamut spends his actions to be able to um, basically so that Boba Fett didn't lose his focus. And there's Boba doing what he does, zooming right on in, and thank you, Cal, and seeing where Ahsoka went. Ahsoka's turtled up. She's got an evade. It's gonna be very hard to do damage in. But if anyone can get damage in to Ahsoka right now, it would be Boba. He's got a free reroll at range 1. He's got a focus. If he was getting shot, which I think he's out of arc of Ahsoka, then I think that he would that he's basically got like a soft lock and a focus onto Ahsoka. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang is still waiting to see what Finral's going to do, but likely not providing too much in terms of offense this round. The beautiful thing about Boba Fett is he gets aggressive, and then he can just like one turn and still get shots on Ahsoka on the back end. Um, now, Sam is a phenomenal player. I always trust in Sam's judgment on these things. I think Sam is just hoping that he doesn't get a. I posted the streams in the GSP and Crates Discord. You can see any stragglers. Wedge in X-Wing? Yeah, I definitely think Wedge in the A-Wing is a lot better, just from efficiency standards, but I can also understand that with this kind of list archetype, Wedge in the A-Wing just leaves a lot of open points and nowhere. It's not enough to get another ship in. And there's not enough to get another ship in, and there's not enough to make it so that you can put any meaningful upgrades. You're just making points them more pointy. And then they become points pinatas. Oh. All right, so we're gonna have some. We're gonna have some Boba into Ahsoka right now. You could just delete the. All right, so 2 hits and a focus. He's gonna spend that focus for 4 hits. Like I said, that's how you get. That's how you get Ahsoka. And Ahsoka's got 2 force probably, and the evade, and takes one on the shields, which I think I read somewhere that let's see, let me mark that on the overlay, and um, essentially I think something along the lines of there's something if you just doing 3 single modded dice into Ahsoka with an evade, something like a 5% chance of actually doing damage. So it's called napkin math. That's off the top of my head, so probably very inaccurate. But um, I suppose that's a decent trade because now we have Ahsoka, and while Boba can go and start chasing after a new target, Ahsoka can she didn't stretch herself, so she can just three bank and try to take out Gamut. Free points, take a target lock, boost. Then she'll have. I think she's sitting at. Um, I think she's sitting at 1 force after that spend. Let's pull out. Yep, 1 force. And so she can like take a target lock, boost towards Gamut, and she'll be pretty safe from whatever Boba's gonna offer at her. And she'll be able to get essentially close to full mods into Gamut with a concussion missiles. And she wants to remove. I mean, Cal. I mean, sorry, so many names of people to remember. Um, Sam wants to remove points, and he wants to make it so that he can create kill boxes onto Fen Rao. Because Gamut's not that great, but if Gamut's not around, that's 3 dice off the board from the Moldy Crow. That ability and the coordinate is still very lethal. I mean, right now, he'll show how Ryan's plan is. He's got Moldy Crow on. Oh, he does have Moldy Crow. Oh my, that is spicy. That is spicy. No Moldy Crow. So he's just there as he's basically just a 36 point AP5 for all intents and purposes as a rebel player. Just giving him those move, coordinate, doesn't really offer much else. And getting tagged by someone. Um, all right, so tough decisions. I didn't see. I was dealing with a technical thing, and I didn't see what she did, but it looks like she went around. She went the far way around. I thought she was doing a 3 bank, but it looks like she did something like a 3 turn, and then boosted. Took an evade. Worried about Boba Fett. What Boba Fett's gonna do? And Boba Fett's going after Han. That's his job, right? That's what he did. You know. Um, you just gotta be careful when you're shooting at the Falcon, because we all are very much aware that Han is no good to Boba Fett dead. But in this case, in this game, in this alternate reality that we're creating, Boba Fett very much wants Han dead, and to him, Han is worth 91 points. And if he's not dead, you only get half those points. And I'm gonna just stop talking about this analogy because that's just a little too much to dive into. All right, so we have um, we have him now. I believe he boosted. I didn't see what the coordinate action was, but I think he boosted. Anyone in the chat can correct me if he did a barrel roll instead of a boost. So that leaves that he is stuck in whatever range that is, maybe range 2. Definitely looks like he's range 2 of Han. And Han is by an asteroid, so he'll get those rerolls, and he's got the focus, and he's got coordinate boost right, thanks. So he's taking a target lock. Um, so so he's going to start off with Han, and he is going to go into Fen. So 3 dice into Fen's. That's pretty good. Spending the force, Kanan Force, that keeps the focus for anything else that's going to happen to him. Um, and that's two. That is two. So that is some real first blood there. That's not what you want. Uh, looks like he's got range two onto onto Fen round again. So that's again not what Ryan wants to see. Very very brutal. And that's a dead Fen. That's dead Fen. He's gonna shoot back into Han. It looks like. I think. I couldn't hear what they said. Luckily, Fenrau is I6. No, he's going into Wedge. That makes sense. He has the target lock onto Wedge. All right. He's got that lock. He's going to spend that lock. And there's a crit. There's a crit. Spend the focus for 3. And X-Wing is blanks out. And he's going to take that shield. And he's taking that crit. The crit is Blinded Pilot. All right. When we have this more set up, when we're more used to this setup, we'll have a much better dice cams for this. So let me just stick one on there, and he's got a Blinded Pilot on him. So it's definitely not the way Ryan wants things to go right now. Um, yeah, it's range 2, definitely range 2. And sorry, I looks like he took from Boba Fett taking 2 more damage onto Wedge. So surviving on 1, and Wedge is just out of range, so it's got to go into Han. I'll take 2 more off of Wedge. And 2 hits from Gamut. Oops, got to decide if he wants to Han that. What's the odds that he's gonna spend the focus, take 1 shield. He's got he got terrified that he might roll into blankouts. And really, at this point, he's well ahead of things, so there's no reason for him to be taking any kind of risks. We're at what, 71 to 27 on the points. As a Rebel player, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see Fenrau off the board. Fenrau is brutal against, basically anyone. Just the burst damage is so hard. And now it's basically Boba Fett versus the world, because Boba Fett needs to kill everybody because Gamut's just 2 dice and very easy to arc dodge him at this point. And Gamut is now also doesn't have anyone to really coordinate unless he works. I don't think he can. I think he needs to basically just be a blocker at this point so that Boba can come in and start lacing into one of these ships. Probably take Wedge off the board. Wedge is sitting there with 1 point. And Sam needs to now get back around to kill Boba. I mean, if he gets half on Boba, that's pretty much game. And so the Yeah, so I think positional, like, while the opening joust was definitely in Sam's favor, positionally, Ryan has a lot of tools to play with here. He's got a lot to work with. He's got Boba Fett, and he's got a blocker, a very good blocker, in Gamut. And Gambit doesn't really have anything else to do here except for try and not get shot and bleed more points over to Sam. And Ahsoka will probably just two turn in, you know, and probably take a lock and boost to try to take out shoot at Gamut. She can't really do much else. Um, really, the Boba Fett hunters here have to be those I6s that are there. Um, 'Cause Sam wants to have Wedge not block Han. So but Han also wants to be in range one of an obstacle. And then, if I had to guess, a two turn, even if he doesn't block, get bumped, a two turn would put him out of range one of that obstacle, which means he loses his rerolls, and then he's got to spend his time trying to get back. Um, but so I guess that's the question for Ryan. That's the question. Is he going to try and block Han, but Han keeps his rerolls? Um, but or is he going to let Han make that turn and just see what he can do? Um, I think blocking is always better. It's an art. It's an art that is not utilized nearly enough in X-Wing nowadays. Uh, Action denial is so important. All right, so he's going there. Boosting. Yep, he's going for the block. Beautiful. Beautiful. Very smart. Take minimal amount of damage. There's the two turn from Ahsoka as planned. Probably out of. Probably can't target lock. Probably focuses boosts. Or he could take the target lock. It doesn't really matter too much. He's not losing anything. He's just getting range understanding. Oh, he's just gonna boost. Not gonna take us. Not gonna take the focus. Make sure to keep his arc. There's the focus. There's the simple move. Beautiful. Fits in. And hopefully, and he's hoping Boba can do some serious business. Oh, a talon roll. Beautiful, beautiful maneuver by Sam to do that talon roll, seeing that Boba's going to come right into Han. But yep, Han can't avoid being blocked with and trying to stay somewhat near. But the good thing about this is that it's this maneuver by Sam allows it so that in the following turn, Sam can still um, get out, and even if he takes some damage. Um, Looks like that's Han going into Boba Fett. Boba Fett doesn't have any rerolls. He's not in range one, so he's just stuck with that one. And Boba dodges it. So that's all set there. Now we're going to see Wedge into Boba. This camera 2 that I set up is not good. Gotta change it. There it is. That's the Wedge I like to see. And a blank out from Boba, so that's three shields, I think. I think that's the three shields. Yep, three out of four shields gone. That's why we have shields. Ahsoka's going into Gamut. And one should be relatively easy. There's the one. Perfect dice. And then we're gonna probably get that range 2 into Han. No rerolls on for either ship at this point. We're gonna in future results we're gonna get a nice dice cam, so we don't have to keep flipping back and forth. And there's the force from Kanan, so he takes two shields. All right, let's up. Does no I don't think Gambit has a shot here, but he's probably going to check. There's no reason not to. Well, he could shoot Boba, but I don't think that's the plan. So Boba takes 3 shields, and we got, um, how many was it on Han? What's Han down to now? He's got 3 shields down. All right, this is a game. This is a game. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. The points haven't changed. Boba's in the back. Boba can do stuff. Um, now that we're here, let's see what they got going on here. So this is the part where it'd be great to have Cal, a little back and forth, a little conversation, where we start arguing over what the two of us, what Sam should do, what Ryan should do, who's got a chance. One of us to say, there's no way that the other person can win. Definitely, probably looking good for all right. Scott saying 1 bank right for Gambit, 1 hard right for Boba. Rear shot on Wedge. Oh yeah, Scott likes the rear shots. That's a good thing. Regroup for Han, and that's not a bad plan there, honestly. You want to get Wedge off the board. It does result in Wedge kind of getting that range 4 shot, even range 4 shot onto, 4 die shot into Boba. Don't think he really likes that idea. I don't not. Fortunately, I'm not really trained in Socratic dialogue, but I'll start working on it for the next cast, and I'll come back with my homework done. So I think it's a difficult play here, but if I was Ryan, I definitely like the idea of the 1 bank with Gambit, so that he can take a shot onto Wedge, because he just needs to get 1 through. And Wedge isn't going anywhere but forward. So I would almost just I would almost just 1 turn in and let Wedge just bump into Boba, and and I used to write an iambic pentameter, Cal, but that was a long time ago. That's what we call college. Um, and so I would say try to force the block so Wedge doesn't even get a focus. Take a 1, take that range 1 shot with Gleb or Gamut, and then Boba is free to just shoot at anybody. And the beautiful thing about that is, since it's Gambit, the one trying to take out Wedge, Boba will have his reroll to shoot at Han or at Ahsoka, depending on who's the best target here. The hope is, though, that Gambit survives this, because we assume that Han's going to do some kind of probably a 2 or a 3 bank. A one bank's a little worrisome in case Gambit just tries to 1 bank to the left and just presents himself as an obstacle that just sits there and doesn't move. Han definitely wants to just get not within range 1 of Boba Fett with rerolls. So there's the move. Not unsurprising. Probably takes a lock. But the question is, who does he lock? A-Wings don't get R3. Believe me, I wish they did. He's probably sitting at full force now. Let's zoom out a bit. Let's see if he is. Yep, full force. He could coordinate to Wedge right now, and so that Wedge gets his focus, but he's using Ahsoka's ability to coordinate a target lock for Han. And then she's going to use her action to target lock Boba as well. So that there can be. I mean, it makes sense. Boba's the points. Boba's the points. It doesn't matter that he's stressed because Ahsoka's ability is that you can coordinate somebody even if they're stressed. It's actually even better than AP5, who says you can do it if they just have one stress token or two stress tokens. I don't remember off the top of my head, but with let me see if I can pull up Ahsoka Tano, or is he to A-Wing? So you can see there it says you may perform an action even while stressed. So it's a beautiful ability. I love her. She's my bae. Never gonna stop. There it is. Han bumps. Um, it's this is basically everything that Sam would want. Um, Even if Boba has the arc, which I think he does on Han, uh, Boba's taking a lot of shots, and Wedge is not dying because he's not getting shot. All right, Han into Boba. So this should be 4 dice with a target lock and the Force. Boba does have those rerolls. I'll definitely spend the lock, but is he going to spend it on 1 or 2? Looks like he's doing both. 3? Definitely 1 going through onto Boba. She's got 1. It's got the reroll, definitely. And there's the focus. See if he's... I don't know what's going on right now. They're checking the side arc. I think they're trying to check to see if he has another reroll. Yeah, So it looks like Boba's taking the shield and the hit. And Ahsoka's gonna take her shot. Probably concussion missiles coming in. That hit was huge because that means if she gets a hit on him, that card means that it's gonna become a crit. Um, uh, yeah, I'll suggest that roll on the mat. But let's just see what happens on this roll. Uh, so he's taken hit crit, and then there's also things are flipping. Boba's on fire now. So the crit he takes is a weapons failure, and then he's got to flip the other one, which is a hull breach. Beautiful, just what Boba wants to see. Roll the dice. So that's what. So that was just double checking two. So shield and 2 damage, 2 crits, and then Boba is he doesn't have wedge, not what he wants. He's gonna shoot at Ahsoka. I don't know what they're rolling their dice. They're bringing it over here. Okay, they listen to me. He's got a weapons failure, so it's just 2 dice. Brutal. Nothing's going right for the man from Philly, but at least gets 2 hits. That's something he doesn't need to use as rerolls. Oh, that's 2 evades. Natty evades, baby. Natty evades. We don't have natty evade. We don't have natty evades. Like I said, icon. Gambit doesn't have the shot on Wedge. This couldn't go any better for Sam. Uh, Everything is breaking his way. He's doing exactly what he wants. I think that was a right play by you. Oh, there you go, Kashka. There you go. There you go, Scott. Natty air. Brr, 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 brr. So, um, I think if I had to guess, I think Silver Tongue is probably Kent. He does have a silver tongue, so I assume it's Kent. Not certain. Um, but I agree with you, Scott. Though he should have done that turn with Gamut, and to try and get um, some kind of shot onto Wedge, because now Wedge is alive. And what we said in the very beginning of this game was that the longer Wedge is alive in general, the more likely the Rebel player is going to win. I don't, I think maybe I'm going to throw a random number out that means nothing. And I'm going to say that maybe 10% of the games I've ever played where Wedge is alive, I've lost. If Wedge is alive, he's just a constant threat. Like right now, he can do a 3 talon, he can 4K, he's going to get a shot. He's going to get a shot no matter what. And um, and Ahsoka, if she wants to, um, she still has 2 force right now, I think. Yeah. Oh, nope. She only has 1 force, so she can't do her coordinate, which would have been even more beautiful. But Wedge is getting a shot, and he can shoot at anybody, and it's just making another shot that has to go to Wedge because you have to deal with him, which means another shot that's not going into Han, who has got the most points on this table, and Boba still needs to clear uh, his weapons, which I assume Gammon's going to move to try to coordinate and give Boba those. Oh, oh, we got a bomb drop. We got some thermal detonators being dropped. Uh, just hoping for that K turn, hoping for the re-rolls, so the rolls so that Wedge blows up before he can shoot. So I guess if Sam saw that coming, he probably would just 3-turn around the rock and feel the need to boost. Drop them both because why not? If you can get twice the opportunity to kill Wedge before he shoots. So Gamut bumped again. Ahsoka's turning around, flying away from the fight. Probably takes an evade. Yeah, it makes sense because in case Boba does like a 2 bank and has her an arc, I don't think I think the 1 bank would cause a bump, and Boba doesn't want to take another damage from those thermal detonators. She's deciding her action, and she's deciding to boost, which I don't know if I like that idea. I think that makes it more likely that Boba can hit her, but doesn't matter. Boba, Boba just moved, and he's stressed because he's got the reinforce there. Um, I'm assuming from Gamut, so I'm assuming he's double stress. I don't understand why he doesn't have 2 stress. Doesn't Boba have a red stress? And there's the turn away with Wedge, as expected. Not as expected, but as expected if he assumed that Bob was going to drop bombs, which I didn't. Which I didn't. I miss you too, film fan forever. Um, I also know that I think you're also getting into MCP. I'm playing MCP too. We should play. Um, um, film fan. Like all people, I don't remember anyone's names, but I remember him very clearly in my head. He's a beautiful man. He wears glasses. In my head, he's blonde. Plays a lot of Hex and Company. Um, but he's one of my favorite people to play against. I believe his name is James, but I'm not positive because I have a poor memory for names. So let's move down a little bit so you can see it. So he's got 2 into Gamut, I imagine, And there's the... Then he takes the 2 shields. Yes, I guessed that correctly. Then Boba has got nothing because she's bumped into. And we're back to dials. Wacky tobacco. Man, I got asthma. I can't be smoking any kind of stuff, you know? Like, I gotta watch out for my lungs, especially during a pandemic for a respiratory disease. Um, so, yeah, this is, as I've said in the last round, this is turning into a bloodbath. That's right, cyber spinach. I love me some spinach. I think that means something besides spinach, but I don't know. I'm a I'm a straight-laced man, at least as according to the internet and to anyone who might be listening, who is has anything to do with the law. So yeah, as I was saying, this is a bloodbath. Like now, Wedge at this point, Sam doesn't even need to cede the points. Um, where at this he can just 2 bank, boost away. Nobody's getting it to Wedge. We're sitting here with 36 minutes in the game, which is a little long for to be running away with Wedge, but he can just take his time with Wedge, come in when he wants, try an arc dodge Boba if he can at a good angle, and it's just points on the board that Ryan conceivably will never ever get because Wedge will never let himself get shot by Gamut at this point, if he can. I mean, he might boost, take an unmodded shot, and then maybe he's in arc. I don't think so. Then you have, and Boba's stressed right now, so he's doing something like a 1 bank. So yeah, they're all going in. They're trying to get more points. It's 117 points that Sam has. Boba needs to start getting something. And the target that they need to focus on is Han. They need to get Han. Ooh, yeah, the 1 bank. He probably doesn't want to. He probably wants to stay there so that Han bumps, so he's not taking more damage. But now he's just going to take a concussion missile by Ahsoka, which means more crits. It's very gross stuff that's happening to Ryan. Couldn't have happened to a nicer man. Oh, it looks like he didn't bump. Uh, yeah, he did bump. Yeah, yeah. So he's gonna take the range 3 into Gamut. Um, no rerolls, just the Force. Persistent passive updates. There you go. 2 hits. And Gamut's gonna. Ooh, yep, he's gonna spend it because if he takes another hit, he's gonna cede half points, and that's doesn't want to give up any more points. Wedge has no shot, so here comes Ahsoka with some concussion missiles. Concussion missiles have how many charges on them? What, 3? Yep. So I mean, how many times is the A-wing gonna shoot in the game anyway? So having 3, I mean, outside of range 1. Ugh, there's the focus. He's taking a damage, gonna spend the focus, but he's still gonna take a hit. And that also means someone. Oh, panic pilot takes the 1. Concussions missiles make it a panic pilot. Boba's double stressed. I'm pretty sure that Ryan's just putting a bullet in his head at this point. He's just like, oh, actually, I don't think the concussion is what caused that, because I think he needs to have it. I think it's the hull breach that caused Boba to take it as a crit. I can follow this game just like anybody else. But Yeah, I mean, at this point, the good news is that outside of Gamut, there's really no points that he concede without dying. But I don't see where. I don't see where. I don't think Ryan could get any more points in this game. Blanks out. Beautiful. Pure entertainment, folks. The best. I mean, that's really what this proves to. Not to put any hot takes out there and to offend anybody. I know we have a lot of Scum fans out there, but clearly the Rebel Alliance, the superior faction, Han Solo, Wedge Antilles. What else do you need? What else do you really need? Um, and then you have Ahsoka Tano. Rebel A-Wings are the new hotness. Yep, Rebel A-Wings are the new hotness. Rebel A-Wings are they're hotter than the Resistance A-Wings. Resistance A-Wings were some of my previous favorites, and um, I loved them, and I played a lot of them, and they had some great abilities. And Effigy really knocked it out of the park here. They really, really did the A-Wings um, a beauty to them. Just these amazing, amazing abilities that the A-Wings now have. Um, that make up for the fact that they don't have those back arcs, which are beautiful. I mean, technically A-Wings do have access to back arcs, but not that great. Um, uh, the back arc is nice. I can't tell you how many times I play and I wish I had the vector cannons on my A-Wings because their time on target is very difficult to keep with. But like this is a perfect opportunity that you wish you just could just turn and then take its lock or take a focus or take an evade and have a shot. And it would just be great. Um, Oh, beautiful! Look at it. He knew Bob was going to turn. He's like, I'm double stressed anyway. I just need to get shots boosted out of the way. Sam, I wouldn't necessarily assume this because who knows with because they're in the finals. But I think Sam is a good player. Nothing for nothing for either I6. Ahsoka will take her pot shot at Gamut. Looks like obstructed range 3 with only force mods. I bet he doesn't spend it. What? Why would you spend it? You don't like. He's rolling 4. He's got to focus. What's the reason for it? This. Well, now he has to spend the focus. But regardless, he had to spend the focus because he doesn't want to cede the points. So now at least Ahsoka still has her force for the defensive shot. Obstructed range. I mean, it's 5 dice with at least one force. How many forces on here? On her. One force and an evade. There's like no way. I think there's something like a 1% chance that he hits Ahsoka. Well, that's a good start. That's definitely a good start. But yeah, no. Natty's out. Natty's out. 2 evades. Doesn't even spend the evade. Spends the other evade just because if you go through the effort of taking out the token, you might as well spend it. That's what I've always said. I've always said this. Don't. And there's no tape because this is my first time actually commentating on a match. At least commentating where people can hear me. So there's no tape. Um, like I was saying, I don't see much of an out, but I think at least Boba can just 3 forwards maybe, keep the arc a little wide, um, and then try and get some points off of Wedge. Um, the Wedge is probably gonna either go forward and try to take Gleb off the map, or just bank in towards Boba, knowing that Boba's coming in and is stressed and has no mods, and see if between him and Han they can remove him before he shoots. Han can, assuming he doesn't, assuming Boba goes forward that fast, Han can just roll forward, end up on that debris cloud in front of him, spend Kanan to remove the stress, and then no problems. Yeah, he's dropping. Of course, he's dropping the rest. It is possible that Boba Fett doesn't even survive this round, so you might as well drop the thermals. Drop them both. Try and get some damage onto Han. But if I was Sam, I wouldn't care, and I would just go one forward and see if I can just spend the Force, take a focus. I got my rerolls from Han, got my focus. But I guess we'll see what Boba does. Let's see what Ryan does. Nice block there by Gamut. Oh, now that's not what I expected. He's trying to block so Han make sure Han takes those. I think Han was going to take those anyway, but takes a damage from his. Does he take damage? He rolled a hit. He doesn't take a damage. Hits the debris. Doesn't hit Boba. That's amazing. Han's amazing. Rolls for it. Gets stress. Probably spends Kanan so he doesn't get the stress. Take a focus token so he can shoot. Or maybe boosts so he doesn't get hit. There's really no reason to focus. You just boost. Don't get hit by the bombs. Boba can't shoot you. No reason to see the points here, Sam. Just don't overthink it. Just boost. Let the game continue. Nah, he's gonna focus. He chooses violence, as the internet seems to say. Opening those S foils, going forward. He's just gonna try to wipe out Brian, end this match, put him out of his misery. Say, try again in another tournament, buddy. It's violence is always the answer. Doesn't work for me. Every time I choose violence, I roll blanks into blanks. Ooh, I don't know what these thermals do. I think he takes a shield. Yeah, I think he can re-roll it with Han. He's the one doing the rolling. Yep, using Han's ability to re-roll it to try not to take a damage. And it's another crit. What are the odds? What are the odds? Takes one. Then for the second one, gets a blank, which does nothing. But he got a shield off of Han. We're getting there. There's no R2D2 on this Han, so what he gets is what he gets. All right, so range 1 into Boba. I figured if he was gonna do this and take the shots from Boba, then he would probably just that works. Yeah. I mean, if you're already there, you're here for violence. Spend the focus, Sam. All right, that's an obstructed shot. That's why it's like that. Ooh, it's a good start. It still blocks taking 2. I think that leaves him with 1 health left, but they're all crits, I think. So the crits are Loose Stabilizer and Panic Pilot. I have not been keeping up with all these ridiculous amounts of crits, so more stress onto Boba. At this point in the game, I'm not even gonna keep up with the. He's got 1 health left. Here, I'll throw in his Loose Stabilizer and his Hull Breach, and that's yeah. He's just a slew. And Wedge is shooting at Gamut. Hit, crit. I mean, makes sense. Got target lock. Spends the focus, takes hit, crit. If it's a direct hit, he's gone. Let's see what happens. Blinded pilot. Which is fine. He just doesn't have any way to mod his dice anyway. So, 2 more. He's just eliminate. And here comes that range 1 back into Han. Trying to get those half points into Han. Get some kind of life in him. 22 minutes left in this game. He's got weapons failure, which is why he's only rolling 3. He's going to reroll that. And hit crit. tough. It's only going to take a shield, so he'll take it. That's smart. No reason to take risks here. He's not losing half points. Doesn't have the force. And we're back. We're back at it. Um, and that first shot, that's the power of the A-Wing. What's up? What's up, Will Silvertongue? Oh yeah, we still got does Wedge have blinded? Let's check to see if he flipped that at some point. He probably did. He has fuel leak. He has fuel leak. I'll fix that on the I'll fix that on here. He might have I might have hit the wrong thing or something. I'm gonna blame that on user error. There you go. But thank you for bringing that to my attention so I could fix it. Um, yep, yep. This is yeah. Maybe he got blinded in that first hit, and then he fixed it in the multitude of rounds where he wasn't doing anything and wasn't gonna get shot, and then took another crit. Um, it was so long ago. It was so long ago. This match has been just a cornucopia of goes wrongs for Ryan. Um, but this has been fun. I gotta say, regardless, I mean, it's always fun to see the Rebels win personally, but it also is just fun to see these guys hash it out against each other. And um, I mean, yeah, why not? Just roll over it. I mean, personally, I would have banked instead because Han's just gonna move one forward and then just knock it. I mean, unless he's just going to this like, uh, unless he's exactly like Han's just gonna turn around and just say, "All right." At least this way he would have forced. If he banked, he would have forced it. Loose stabilizer. Thank you. I'm looking at the wrong screen. I should be looking at the screen that has the crits on it. There's Wedge into Boba, I guess. I guess it wasn't obstructed. It's not obstructed, in fact. That's Boba off the board, maybe? I thought he took one damage. Yeah, it's Boba off the board. They're just not doing it because at this point he just feels. And there's the folk. I don't know what's going on anymore. What are they doing? There we go. There we go. There's Boba off the board. I think. All right. I don't want to take risks here, but I feel like it's safe to say that this might be a win for the Rebel Alliance. I think the Rebel Alliance. Well, this one is first we got to. Oh, I think that's it, and then I think that's the last. I think that's it. I think that's Gamut dead. That's the game, guys. That was a good game. That was a good game. I would hopefully in the future games when we figure out the technical sound problem, we can bring in their two excellent pilots so we can interview them and give them and see what they're thinking, how they feel about the game. I know this seems like a bloodbath, 199, 200 to 27 for Sam's victory, but I think that Ryan played a really good game. I think that everything was going against him. This was a hard matchup for him, and that one move with Fen Rao ending up in range 2 of both Wedge and Han basically said, "You're not going to win this game, Ryan. It's over. It's not going to happen." Thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. And yes, congrats to Sam. Well thought. He played excellently. Played almost entirely Rebels throughout the entire tournament, a couple of Resistance, which is just Rebels 2.0, and he is going to be the winner of the Battle Box provided by Ken Chow, District Foundry, um, the NYC Battle Box, which is fantastic, and uh, Ryan is not going to go away empty-handed, as since he's second place, he's going to end up with the Cutthroat alt art from Lois Long out in the UK, and that's really what he probably wants anyway. I mean, I think Ryan has a really good battle box anyway, and those Cutthroats are cool. Little Mandalorian alt art's got Fearless on the other side, um, and as you can tell by Ryan's list, he likes Fearless. So but but yes, fantastic job, great game. I hope everyone enjoyed. Um, I appreciate everyone for coming. Make sure to follow us. We hope to have more games on soon. We got the more technical minded individual who's got a really good rig and he'll get things going. And when we'll give you guys a heads up when they're happening. So everyone have a great night. Thank you for rapping. Fly casual. Enjoy your games. And in the end, if you see Sam, tell him uh, you didn't win the dice won. You did nothing to win this game. He'll love it. Have a great night, everyone. Love you all. Peace out.